Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
The second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Gordon with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
It is February 3rd, 2025. I am Jimmy here with Chris and Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. We are back for another season. It's been a while. We're very glad to be back. See a lot of people in the chat, a lot of familiar faces. Santos, Matt, James, Marie, Brad, John. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody back. We are excited to get this season kicked off, and we got a great show planned for you tonight. We have Brandon and Freddie Rahmer on tonight. They'll be coming and joining us here shortly in a few minutes. We'll also kind of break down some of the big news, take a look at some of the traveling rosters, and then we're each going to give our bold predictions for 2025. So yeah, Chris, Jay-Z, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling in 2025?
Ready to go, man. I'm excited, pumped up. Kind of everybody saw the video from the show Saturday. Had a great time there. Feel like we're ready to get rolling. Good all season. We've got some snow, so hopefully it's out of the way. Got some cold weather. Got my Achilles fixed, so hopefully I'm on the mend for walking around this year without pain. So it's pretty good. Chris, you ready to go?
Of course I am. Ready to go.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I forgot.
That's it.
I forgot to mention we do have a musical guest tonight. He'll be at the end of the show. Chris Lynn is going to serenade us with his drumming.
Yeah. Anyway, happy to be here.
Chris's off-season upgrade was his daughter's drum set.
Yeah, she wanted to play drums. I couldn't touch her other drum set, so I had to get her a new one. And bam, bam, bam. Either way, happy to be here. I got this sweet Kyle Keen hat and this Vertical for Life shirt. Happy to be back. We got Freddie, Brandon Rahmer, and I'm ready to be back. Let's go.
Before we
race Xtravaganza, let's get it.
Before we bring them on, I do see Brad wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you very much. Brad, if you don't know, he runs Vertical for Life, who's a big partner of ours, a big supporter of ours, and we support him. Chris, you want to tell him a little bit about Vertical for Life? You have the shirt on.
Vertical for Life. So it's a veteran organization, right? They try to raise funds to help support veterans. They do it through music, right? So guys, they go there and have events. I was at one this past off season, raising funding through the shirts and the hats to support veteran causes that get them the resources they need to get the help, counseling, whatever it may be, to get them through the days. Obviously, Brad, he still has. He's trying to use his track chair this year. He wants to go racing. Fred Putney won't let him. But Vertical for Life won't be the time. They're trying to raise funds, basically to support veterans and initiatives that help veterans have a better life after war. We have the shirts here. He has a hell of a hat and some other stuff they have on their website now, verticallife.com. A hat collection and stuff like that. It's camouflages, deer. It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff, and I love Brad, and we're gonna meet together soon.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, great things that they do over there. Definitely make sure you check out Vertical for Life. That's verticalforlife.com and support a great cause. All right, let's not delay any longer. This is a treat. We've had them both on separately, right? We've had them both on separately before, and now we get to have them on together, which will be pretty cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon and Freddie Rahmer. Gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Hey guys,
Thanks for having us.
thanks for having us.
All right. So I'm going to try to do my best to juggle this and ask questions, but some of them are going to be for both of you. So, Brandon, start with your all season, man. How was your all season? How things going for you?
Good. Just busier than ever. Trying to balance out my work with trying to get the race car ready and stuff. Don't really have tap time for trying to keep up with most of it, but things have been good. Getting cars ready together, dropped in the motor 2 days ago. So, just need to get tires and finish up a couple little things and should be ready to go.
You ready to go? Freddie, how was your off season? You had a busy one. I'm not saying it's more busy than Brandon because he's got a lot going on too, but you made some news here not that long ago and you had some cars, you had some things going, but what have you been working on?
It's off season's been good. I don't. It's pretty much normal stuff. Busy with work, but we had a lot of equipment on ourselves, but getting everything the same and prepared as possible. It's been, we've been nonstop since we, stopped racing and getting ready. So we're pretty close. It always comes down to right before, and you're as prepared as you can be. But you work throughout the year to keep that point. But it's been good. I think I'm excited for myself to get racing and Brandon too, but I think we're going to be in really good shape with things and be as prepared as you can and going in with a good attitude and look forward to a fresh start, getting started here soon.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute because I guys have bound I want to say, how do I want to say this relate to, obviously following Brent's career. Brent, was driving for someone else for a minute, had his own stuff at the shop, didn't run it a whole lot. But when he went back to it, it was like, okay, I had parts, but I had to kind of rethink and rebuild and reorder and get organized. Now, during your time with the 8 car, you were running the 51 at times. So you had parts and pieces, but to ramp up and go back full time with this at the level that you're going to race, how much organization did it take did you have to step back, do some inventory, or did you kind of keep up with that on the side all along?
It was a little bit of it, but we still were racing, not much, but we still were racing our stuff for a little bit there in between running for him. And so it wasn't bad. It was just updating a couple things and getting the trailer back in shape and organized and making sure our motors are fresh and got another one to come in and just making sure everything's the best we can. It wasn't honestly that much different than it was in the past getting ready or getting someone else's stuff ready or it's all good. It wasn't too bad at all. I'm excited for to be back. Just excited for it all. That's all.
Ready to get going. Now, you mentioned we had you on like springtime 2023, I want to say, and you had come off a season that you had some wins and you had really concentrated on your time trial effort. And in 2023, man, you racked it off, right? 2023 was a memorable year for you. You kind of knew from one off season to the next, like, hey, we want to go and improve this part of our program. This year, kind of coming into it, going, hey, I'm going back full time. You have a base, but at the same time, you can only kind of go off of what you did last year. But now you're going back over here. So, how do you kind of look at the season on not goal setting necessarily, but like, hey, maybe I don't know where our program is, or do you have a good idea of like we went into 2025 with our 51, knowing we want to improve or whatever with this program?
Yeah, I follow what you're saying. It's kind of we knew what our weaknesses were last year, or even the last several years in certain areas, and we worked on that best we can. But it's kind of just got to go into open mind, because a couple things are different, but in the end they're almost the same. So just going with the open mind and looking forward to starting over. We have some different motors and different manufacturers, so that'll be a little different. I haven't ran them at the tracks that we run all the time now, the Williams Grove and Lincoln, so I'm excited for that. And there'll be a couple of things to figure out, but in general, it's not going to be much different than what we were doing. So
shouldn't be
just
too
keep
bad.
plugging away at it. It's just you go in any year, you think you got it figured out from the year before or whatever, or think that we fix this, and you end up maybe not fixing that and hurting something else. So just go into it and open mind and do whatever we have to do for myself and obviously Brandon to be best we can every week. And if we ain't starting off good, just keep working on it and turn it around or whatever. So it should just be, I feel like it's the same mindset as every year, basically.
Very similar. So Brandon, I want to actually talk to you here, and kind of similar, but you guys are both pretty quiet on social media. You're not like, you're out there a little bit. Freddie, you're just not at all, right? You do you. I can very much respect it. Trust me, I would love to like not do it sometimes. Brandon, you dabble a little bit, some of the team, your business, but also been kind of quiet, right? I saw a trailer getting bought back and being wrapped. I heard some updates. I think Todd actually probably did more updates on what you've been up to than yourself, which is fine, no problem. But right. I heard you're going to do a little more racing this year. What's kind of on the schedule? Do you have a number picked out, and have you laid it that far out yet?
Like we're always guaranteed to run Lincoln. Pretty much like I got a trailer, I bought a truck. And honestly, I was probably thinking about doing that towards the end of the off season, just to kind of make things a little bit easier going to the racetrack on Saturdays. If Freddie was going to run, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I could go out and have a little bit more, freedom and leniency to leave for the races. But I've been gearing that up. I bought my trailer back from Stamen, and I was actually lucky enough to get it back and stuff. He helped me out a good bit, but I've been fixing that up. But the whole main thing too was if like it would rain out at Lincoln, we kind of wouldn't go anywhere else. It kind of be, if Saturday was canceled, we wouldn't go to Babs or go, who knows where. And I gotta stay within myself too, because obviously I have my business. But like maybe if it rains out at Lincoln this year, we might be able to go to Susky on Sunday instead, and maybe run a handful of shows. But we'll run probably 30 couple races, see how the year's going in the beginning, and hopefully, I'd like to run a little bit more different racetracks and stuff. But like I said, I got to stay within myself. But I guess we'll see. We take it one step at a time, and hopefully just start running a little bit better at Lincoln. I think our program got a little bit better towards the end. We started time trialing a lot better. And started getting a little bit more consistent. Early in the year, we kind of struggled, and kind of, me trying to find what I needed in the car, plus putting the car where I needed to, were kind of two separate things at the beginning of the year. But, I think we'll have a lot better baseline starting out, and, hopefully have a better start to the season.
And I talked to you throughout the year, and I was excited last year. I was hoping you'd run more Williams Grove, because the times you showed up the year before at Williams Grove, you had some speed, and it like seemed like, yeah, you've been doing this a lot. You don't have a ton of laps at Williams Grove, but I was like, man, I hope Brandon runs more Williams Grove.
Yeah.
If you have a short weekend coming up, I mean, are Fridays still a problem with work, or do you see some sprinkling in some Friday nights?
I mean, I'd like to. It just all comes down to, I'd rather be prepared for 30 races than try to run 50 or 60 and, stretch out our motors, spend money on stuff that, tires if we're not fully prepared. But I mean, I love the Grove. I always seem to run okay there. I never just always ran off and on. But I think I ran half a year in 2017, but that was a while ago. But, we'll see. I think we'll run at least 1 or 2 shows at Williams Grove with Daikin sponsoring the Morgan Cup. But, other than that, we'll just have to see how the year goes. If we're doing good at Lincoln and making money with the car, I don't see why not that we couldn't run it. But like you said, too, we got to get our motor rebuilt after a couple races to begin the season. And we have another one and stuff, but it's a backup at the moment. So, we're just kind of taking one thing at a time. But we do have guaranteed races at Lincoln and hopefully at like the Grove and Babs, just stuff that will trickle in.
Yeah. Jimmy, what do you got?
Brandon, you got, I don't want to say got off to a kind of a slow start at Lincoln last year, but you really started running really consistently, it seemed like, in the top 10 the last half of the year. Is it just a matter of getting laps, or was it just talk about how your season kind of went there?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of started calling the shots a little bit more. Was trying to work with my dad and stuff in the beginning of the year, but him bouncing back and forth between me and Freddie, I wanted to try some different stuff, and it's not completely different, but I think I just found a better baseline for me, something I like in the car more than what we were doing, say, with Freddie. But I started going a little bit further with my setup. I started just kind of being on top of everything a little bit better, and I think that helped me a lot. Like, stuff that I was focusing on early in the year didn't really seem to matter. Like, you couldn't feel anything different with the car, but if you're running 2-3 nights a week, you could rule something out really quickly. But until I get the feel for something that, hey, it's not going to work for me, or I need to make a change, you might spend a whole month screwing around, and you don't want to get too far off your setup because what semi worked a year or two ago that made you fast. But, I got Moon and stuff coming to help me on Saturdays, and he helped at the end of the year too. So I think that'll be a good change of pace, because he's very easy to work with. He's obviously a very smart mechanic. But, we should be, like I said, I know where I need to be with the car and stuff. And, once I start believing in the car, good finishes should come.
And Freddie, you last year, it seemed like anywhere. I mean, you couldn't match what you did the year before. I mean, I don't know if anybody could. You had so many wins. But last year, I mean, if you weren't winning, you second, third, fourth, fifth, like every week, always top 5. What were the big differences between last season and the year before? Why you couldn't get some of those wins? And what's a big reason for you're still very consistent, still always in the hunt. So, I mean, you're, just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if it was one thing in particular, or I mean, it all just comes down to just not doing a good enough job, really. If it's, with the car or just driving, or sometimes things just don't work out and you run second and not win. If you had to yell at the wrong time or whatever, there was like 4 or 5, or at least more than that, nights that we were probably going to win and run second or third because of something. But, they're just excuses too. But I don't know. We're just missing something a little bit, and it's probably my fault. Sometimes it's just attitude, or, the environment around the car, whatever. It's just, you're missing a little bit and somebody else is doing a little better job, I'd say that's what it was, just missing. It ain't like a part you need or this or that. Sometimes, maybe qualifying your stuff isn't as good as somebody else's, or if someone, whatever. But just we're missing a little bit. I'm excited. With the group of guys, we're back to kind of what we're doing, what we used to do, and with just excited to get back and start over. And think a couple things we improved on, but we'll see once we get racing. But there was nothing that really sticks out. There was one particular thing why we didn't. It was just terrible compared to what we want to do and what we only won 2 races, so that ain't no good. Just didn't do a good job, really.
So when you looking back at the season, and I don't want to dwell on the things that didn't go well, but did you also feel it's easy for us as fans to sit back and go, well, Freddie had a good season, very consistent, didn't have all the wins. Maybe everyone else stepped it up a little. Or did they step it up a little visually because, Freddie didn't win 14 races, so it gave them the statistics. Do you think it was a little bit of both of that too, where some of those guys made a little bit of a jump in their program and their driving and experience and things, along with, hey, you were just, that much off? Do you feel that, or do you think it was like, hey, I did what I was supposed to do and control what we were to control. We won all those. We would have had the same year.
Yeah, I can only talk for myself, but I don't think I was even as close to as good as I was the year before with the way I felt in the car. It's most times. Different times it felt pretty good, and we'd win or we'd run good. But no, I definitely wasn't as good, and I'm sure they got better a little. But I've seen it with other guys or my dad or whatever. You can make things look real good or real bad depending on what's going on. But sure. I think the one thing, thinking about it, that really hurt myself was them taking the Wicker Bill away. Definitely hurt me a lot. Like even at Lincoln, the way you can float around the racetrack or kind of move around, I think that hurt for me. And it took us a while to kind of compensate with that a little bit. And I don't know. They heard it to try to make the racing better. And if anything, in my opinion, it made it worse because you took downforce off the car or whatever you want to say, So whatever the best part of the track was, that's where everybody was racing. And if you tried to make a move or drive across the corner or slide someone, and you couldn't, and to make that time back up took too long because you didn't have what you had before. And I don't know. I'm glad they went compromised a little bit back on it, but that definitely hurt me for sure. I mean, I'm lighter a little bit. I don't know how much that matters, but maybe it's just more for what we do to the car that hurt for my stuff.
That's interesting you say that because I we talked with Brent late last year and throughout the year a little bit, and he talked about the Wicker Bill, and he was not a fan of it. And I didn't hear too many people that were clamoring and saying, no, keep it, keep it, keep it. I think more people were quiet than they were out loud. The ones that were out loud about it were not in favor of it. But you're not wrong. Like, again, we're fans. There was a lot of races at Lincoln that, I will always say if we're going to be one lane, at least to make it around the top. But there was a lot of nights it was around the top. Just everybody is sailing the top, waiting for lap traffic.
And then nobody was trying to do anything,
Yeah.
Back even when we started racing, me and Brandon, or back from when we were kids watching the races at the Williams Grove Lincoln or even other racetracks, the last 10 laps of the race, it could be around the top, most of the race, middle. But like Alpha 2 at Williams Grove back in the day, even when I started racing, not that 10 years ago or whatever, 9 years, whatever it was, the last 10 laps or 5 laps of the feature, if you hit the bottom Alpha 2, most times you could make up a lot of ground, or that could be the winning move of the race. Same at Lincoln, running through the middle, the bottom, the moisture that's left that everyone misses because you have to slow down to hit it. Well, like it seemed like with the Wicker Bill thing, it made it worse. Not necessarily that you had to run the bottom, but it just made it wherever there was a little bit of traction or grip, everybody had to be at that spot. And it made them all the same speed within reason. And I don't know, it just seemed to really take away, like if your car was a little off or if you want to be aggressive and do something different, it seemed like it took it away. And it's weird, like they try, like it's to make racing better and stuff. And I think it definitely made it worse, but I'm sure there's other people that could say the opposite,
Generally speaking, I saw this obviously Outlaws and both High Limits had changed the Wicker Bill. I didn't notice or see a release. I saw releases about local track rules about some other divisions. Did our local tracks all follow this? Have we confirmed that?
I know Williams Grove, their rules just say they're doing what the Outlaws do. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see anything from Lincoln, honestly, but I don't look at anything, so I don't even know, to be honest.
You'll find out with the icebreaker.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that they changed it, but we'll have to look into that. I'm pretty sure they did. I don't know.
I would assume so. I would assume they all just follow it since the both touring series did, right? I assume that. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't have it released it yet. Weird to be 20 days.
I haven't seen anything
racing. Maybe they did. We just
Well,
don't know it.
Well, last year we ran the first 2 weeks with 2-inch wicker bills, and then they changed it because of the traveling series. You know what I mean? So it was not announced till after a couple weeks we're in, but I don't think that'll be the case this year.
Chris, what do you got?
I want to go back to Randy Kopp. No, I'm not doing bong hits. I'm still coughing randomly, so I had to leave. You didn't want to see that. It was I had to go out and take care.
Would have been more fun if you just said yes.
It would have been.
I would have had probably more fun if I was doing bong hits, but no, I've been fighting this sickness for a week, and whatever. So go on to Jimmy so I can catch back up to the conversation. I was dying. It was not a good time.
All right, Chris, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I do. So,
I wanted to get, before you went into the next topic, actually, I wanted to get Brandon's opinion on the Wicker Bill. What were your thoughts on it last year?
Kind of same thing. I mean, to me, really, it seemed like it was harder to pass. The only real good time of racing was when guys got into lap traffic. Then you could dice it up a little bit. But, the tires and stuff being a little bit inconsistent, changing all the time, it kind of all played a factor.
This is for both of you. You can answer in any order. One of you, both of you, I don't care. I'm in the pits every weekend watching, and especially at Lincoln when you both are there, and you guys always park beside each other, and I see you guys interact a lot. Separate teams, but Dad obviously helped with both. You're back together, family team, right? There's no other kind of outside deal going on there. Was the dynamic any different with Freddie and the 8, you and yours, and to now, or will it literally nothing change except car numbers and colors with you guys as a dynamic in teams?
I mean, for me and stuff, we're always parked right next to each other. We're always, if I get a question or whatever, Freddie's obviously willing to help me out and stuff. To me, like for the races, I don't run, since I don't really run all the time. Some of the stuff that Freddie's tried, me and him kind of go back and forth just to kind of rule some things out, things that might make me better, things that might make him better. But, other than being teammates and having the car under the same shop again, honestly, I think it'll be a little bit better. Both our cars will be exactly the same. So you should be able to pick up a lot and learn a lot more way quicker. But, to me, it's kind of similar to what it was, just, now we're back under the same team.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that. I didn't want to. I should pose that question better, like I'm an outsider, right? Like what fans might see. They might have seen you guys park separate together, but how close were you, right? Like some people that don't go in the pits, they may not know. I kind of had a good idea that I've seen you guys interact a lot during the night. So, but also, having it under the same roof, under the same shop. Let me ask you this: will you guys teamwork together to work on each other's stuff, or do you still kind of, hey, I'm doing my thing here, I'm doing my thing here during the week?
Yeah. Like Brandon said, I don't think a lot's going to change. Before, it was a good deal when I was with Rich and Nancy's car. It wasn't, we were doing our own thing, or we're focused on doing the best we could, but we still during the week, or even somewhat during the night a little bit, it's hard at the racetrack. You try to help each other, but I don't think it's going to, it didn't really change any racing for someone else. Like I was still doing Brandon's shocks and, helping during the week, or if he could ask my opinion or whatever. But I don't think it's going to change a lot. It's just like Brandon said, it will be nice that it's kind of comparing apples to apples again, because we have basically the same, the same car with, two different person in it or whatever. So, basically the same thing, really. From the outside, it would look too.
Yeah. So Freddie, we talked about Brandon's schedule a little bit there. Yours, Williams Grove, Lincoln, BAPS. Anything else on your schedule? Speed week other than Speed Week, or anything else on your schedule this year that you might be adding to that you haven't done in the past, or we kind of, hey, we're getting after what we do?
Just trying to do a better job of what we normally do, honestly. But Williams Grove, Lincoln, if there's a Susky show, we'll go to that on a Sunday. Sealands Grove on a Sunday, whatever. Port Royal, the races that we're not racing Lincoln. All the Speed Week, everything we'll run Speed Week, of course. There's some shows that I put on our calendar, like that are around if things are going good. Like, but I don't know that we're gonna do it. Like, there's like a high limit race in Lernerville during the week in July or something. I'd like to try to go run that, stuff like that. But it all depends on how things going. But not for the most part, guys. It's just normal stuff. Just try to do a really good job at it. There's so many good races right around here that we can race for really good money. And if you're doing a good job and winning races, you can make some money and you don't have to travel far. And we're lucky we race in a really good area. Like, we have friends in Ohio and in California that race, and they kill just to run the summer months here, and they'd run more than they do all season. So like, it doesn't really for me, no, there's not much difference in schedule. But even so, if we had all the money in the world within reason, I don't think I would do any too much different. Maybe a couple trips here or there, but you got to be going good to do that, and I think we will be. But it just doesn't make sense for our team or whatever.
Yeah, no, and you're 100% right. And I think now in this era, if we call it an era, the last, let's call it the last 5 to 6 years and beyond, absolutely. Why would you don't have to go anywhere. There's no reason.
Yeah.
We have so many good paying shows. I mean, just look at Speed Week last year, right? Minimum 10 grand to win every single show, no matter the size, place, capacity of the racetrack.
Yeah.
Speaking of Speed Week, though, are you excited for Path Valley, or is that not your style?
Oh yeah, no, Path Valley. Me and Brandon ran there in the speedsters, and I ran there probably 3 or 4 times in the sprint car. That it is a great racetrack. You're not going a million miles an hour, but great racing. I almost won there the one time, but and now I'm looking forward to that one for sure. But like the one thing I forgot, you just made me think of, the one advantage the guys get, that traveling, I think it does make them better when they can go away and race some different tracks instead of running the same thing all the time. But that's one thing that I would like to just, like, I went somewhere before, like Peevely, Missouri once for 2 races, and during COVID, and we raced and came back, and going to run that track, it kind of opens your mind up. When you come back, you kind of might do something different that you wouldn't have done before, like at Lincoln, because you were open and did something different somewhere else. So like, I think guys that travel a little more have that advantage and learn and makes them better. But we'll maybe get there at some point. But yeah, no, that's all about really.
Probably the last one for me, and I appreciate your guys' time so much. Port Royal for you is a mixed bag. It seems like you have moments where you're like, yeah, we're good for the night, and then I think what was the night you finished really good at the end of the year? One of the Tusky nights.
The Tusky, he finished 6th, and he also got a podium at the Kaufman early in the year.
Right. What do you think about Port Royal, right? You don't get tons of time up there, but is it a seat time thing that for the consistency for you? Is it a feel? You've had very mixed results.
Yeah, here lately we've struggled, honestly, but early, like before the last couple years, we ran really well there too. So I think lately it's been that we haven't had the car right, honestly. And we got it better there for the weekend of the Tuscarora, and we ran 6th, but we're up to 2nd at one point. But we could have done better. I think I made some mistakes driving before all the rubber stuff. But we've honestly just been off on the car. But also to run the wall like it's been, besides being off on the car early in the night, we really weren't in position to take advantage of anything or do anything, honestly. But the way you run the fence or whatever, I would need more experience at that to be good at it. But we could do other things, but I'm not going to bang off the fence like the guys that run there every week or some of the guys that do it well. But when we have the car right, I think we can. We've run good there plenty of times. We've won some races.
Yeah.
I ran 2nd at the Tuscarora from the back when it was an outlaw show. We've won the night before. I'm looking forward to going back this year with the things we learned at the end of last year. But yeah, that's what it's been for me. It's been sometimes it's like we're embarrassing bad, and then we're right. We're not bad. We go out late and time good, and then win the heat and run pretty decent in the feature. That Kaufman race, I think it was earlier in the year, it was pretty wet. So what we were off on the car at that point of the year, it kind of camouflaged because the moisture, we could fake it around, and we ran 3rd and we timed good. But just that's the most of it, I think. But I'll tell you, when I started racing, which is not that long ago, to like the way they bang off the fence, which I don't think is the best port roll version I've ever seen, but it's hard to do that in a different way. It's hard just like it is to run the bottom or middle in the slick. It takes a different skill set of doing that. Maybe a more, it's just different. So I'm not very good at that, honestly.
And listen, not many people are just good at it right away. There's very few, right? The guys that run the laps and have had lots of laps there, that's a skill for sure.
And I think you have to have the mindset. It helps to run there, but you'd have to have the mindset of, not worried about making a mistake and crashing, because you're gonna crash because you're on the verge of crashing. They're banging the right rear wheel off the fence, and guys that are good at it, like Macri and good guys, they're hitting the fence, but their car is sideways. If you hit it too straight with the right rear, you're gonna plug the right front in the wall, and it's over anyway. I mean, it's game over. So, but yeah, it's something.
What do you guys think? And Brandon, this one, I don't want to point them all to Freddie here, but you may have some input as well. The inside guardrail in 3 and 4 at BAPS being installed. What do you guys think about that with the kind of the removal of the berm with a sprint car? I've seen multiple divisions run down there and the berm affects them all differently. Have any thoughts on that fence going in 3 and 4 there?
I mean, to me, it's just, it's kind of just the same way for Lincoln. You're always the guardrails at the same spot every time. I mean, before you'd have guys that would go in the infield and kick out a bunch of loose dirt. But, to me, I think I ran there once at the end of last year. And it didn't really bother me at all. But a couple times I remember they had a flashlight off of coming off of 4, just so you wouldn't hit when it got real dusty when they would kick out a bunch of loose dirt. But, it didn't, to me, I didn't notice any difference. So, but that doesn't mean whether it's good or bad. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Freddie, what do you think?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I didn't even know they were doing that, honestly. But I remember in
and you are disconnected, my guy. I love it. I'm jealous. I love that you don't like nothing. Leave me alone. Leave me out of here. I love it.
Yeah, no, I remember, and Brandon raced there too, in 1 and 2 before that had a fence. That used to be the same deal. It might make it better because guys won't run through the infield, and coming off of 4, when trying to hit the moisture later in the night, there would be like a whoop-de-doo, and you'd almost have to turn out to miss it. And if there's a fence, it'll be like 1 and 2. I think it might make it better. It might make it where we have to run more around the racetrack. I don't think it's a bad thing. I wonder why they're doing it on their end, if it's because people are going in the infield, or I'd be curious to see why they felt they had to do it on their side,
Well, that ditch on the infield kept getting bigger and bigger, and you guys didn't run a ton of it. Some nights you would see like heat races searching for that moisture really low. By feature time, there weren't too many being way down there. But like the modifieds and late models would really go in and hit that berm, and it would either shove them up the track into another car. Everybody would be running down there trying to find the moisture. So I think it's going to make it more consistent. Like it's a fence, it's an inside guardrail. There's no advantage, disadvantage. But I talked to Colton this weekend, and he did say they're going to add a little bit of banking, like on exit of 4. So there's something my brain went to is the guys on the very bottom, you're going to lose some place there. You're going to lose some space, which means everyone's going to move up a little, and 3 and 4 flattens out, middle up top there. And there's not a lot to lean on for you guys, especially sprint cars. So it sounds like they might add a little banking to exit of 4. So you can move around.
Well, I'll tell you the one thing, thinking of that, all these tracks, not just around here, even on TV, you watch racetracks, you start the night, it gets slick, you move the track up wide to the fence. The racing is all based on the racetrack, right? And, the last race we were there at the end of the year, it started out really slick, the last show, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And right before the feature, what they do, in the heats, all the track, everybody won the heats or ran well up on the racetrack. Then right before the feature, we go out and water the whole top of the racetrack. So now we took the preferred lane in the heat and we made it better for the feature, right? There was no passing. Like you could put lawn chairs around the infield where that fence is now because you weren't going to go down there and pass. So I don't think the fence means squat if you just keep watering the top. Because all we do is follow each other around the top of the racetrack.
Freddie,
You know what I mean?
You're kind of pissing Jimmy off though, because he's a big Brock Zerfoss fan. So he let every laugh, and
It doesn't matter who it was. This is like Lincoln, Williams Grove, Susky, Port Royal. All they do is keep making the top better. Why don't you water the bottom off the bottom of the racetrack one time and the top? Like it don't make sense. I mean, don't you guys see that like watching the races all the time?
Yeah, it's made it very top dominant for the features, right? And
Everywhere you go, it's like that's the only thing. It's like the water truck can't turn down off the racetrack. It's like it's broken. You know what I mean?
I love it.
I think the BAPS thing does the BAPS thing have anything to do with not the last race, the race before that, where they took the infield tire out because they were trying to run so damn low twice when they started at off turn 40.
It didn't cause a really big wreck in one of them.
Right. Reinhardt hit it, I think, and someone else did it when they started off 4 because they're trying to get so damn low.
Oh,
anything to do with that by chance? Like
That commentator has a good comment. He said, "Would the fence be due to their idea of the fans in the infield now? That could be a part of it. Maybe I don't know."
No, the fans aren't down there in 3 and 4. They're going to keep the fans down in 1 and 2 in a kind of that half. But I think, Chris, what you're talking about there, that day there was so much water laying in that.
Right, there was like a whole puddle down there. Yeah, and they kept trying to grab it.
They moved the tire out, so the sprint car guys didn't end up splashing water or getting the left front down in there and upsetting the car and getting water all over the place. That's why they moved it out.
No, I think Reinhardt hit it or someone hit it.
Yeah, somebody did.
Crashed like a shit ton of guys in the B main.
Yeah, it did. It was a pretty big pileup. I remember.
It was a whole thing, and they put the tire right back where it was, and someone else hit it because they were trying so hard to stay so low.
Yeah.
I guess the guardrail solves that. Tire won't come on the racetrack.
I'm Chris, Jimmy, what do you guys got?
I wanted to get to we got quite a few there's been quite a few good fan questions here. First, I'm gonna go back here a little bit. Edward Hummel asks, Brandon, are you guys going to have diecast cars?
Possibly.
Your car would be badass in a diecast. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll probably have a couple in the works.
Matthew Bird asks, how long has the 51 car been in the family history?
I mean, my dad ran the 51 when he ran modifieds and sprint cars. He started, but his father, our grandfather, he ran late models it was like a late model, whatever, at Grandview and Mahoning Valley. So that was a long time ago, probably in the 70s and stuff. But it was on and off throughout the years, I guess.
And then this one's for both of you. George Wood here asks, what's the funniest brother fight that ever happened between you guys?
I like this one because you're both here together. I like this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know, how big a fight we had. I just
is it race?
It could be anything.
It could be anything.
The
it doesn't
funniest
be outside
one.
or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be racing. I'll take anything.
No,
definitely some Xbox shit going on back in the day, probably.
No, I don't really think we ever really got into a fight or anything like that. I mean, yelling at each other in the shop maybe once or twice, but nothing too crazy. He used to pester me and then run away.
So who's the prankster of the two? Who would be the first one to pull a prank on the other?
Probably Brandon for sure.
I was gonna say.
I remember when we were kids back in the. I remember we were young, back at the Grove one night, like for an outlaw weekend, and me and Brandon I must have been instigating, or we were doing something, and we were rolling around on the ground, and Todd Schaefer's wife, Allison, had to come and break us up and knocked on the camper door to get our parents to come out and separate us and stuff. But no, we never really fought too much, honestly. That's one that sticks out though.
That's fantastic. Parents weren't even out there. You guys are rolling around in gravel.
I remember one time when we started racing in the sprint car stuff, and at Lincoln, we both started on the front row of a heat race. We were just starting, so we were probably both out of control. But we crashed coming off of the start, and I ran over Brandon's front axle and knocked his front axle. He didn't even get to start the race, and I might have won the heat or ran second or something. But we started the race and we couldn't even get off the corner, and that wasn't a good time. Our dad was more mad than anything because he told us not to do that.
Not to do that.
That's exactly what happened.
That was probably the only thing he told both of you when you
not
were
crash each
getting
other.
in the cars.
Yeah.
Just don't wreck each other, and you lasted 50 feet. Okay.
Right?
All right, we're going to get you guys out of here. Appreciate the time so much. Brandon, thanks some sponsors you got coming back this year, or new sponsors that are going to help you get to the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank Carroll Motor Fuels for coming back on board for this year. Daikin, HVAC Distributors, TransEast, all really good partners and stuff and good friends. So, should be a good season with them and, see what we can do for them.
Freddie?
Yeah, definitely. All the people that was always helped us and all the crew and everything, but TransEast equipment. He's from Boston. He comes down, him and his wife, and Steel It Paint, Special Reagan Pioneer, Pole Buildings. Just all the people help out. Ken's Tire, Dakin, Amana. Just all good people we're with, and looking forward to getting racing and hopefully a good year for us and the tracks and everybody there and stuff. And just appreciate you guys having us on and everything.
No, we thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys willing to come on here before the season gets rolling, and we'll see you guys at the Icebreaker. Hopefully both days, but we'll pray for at least one of them. So see you guys in a few weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Brandon and Freddie, very much for joining us. That was fun. Just this is getting me excited, man. More we get into it. I said this at Racing Extravaganza on Saturday, and then talking to those guys, I'm just getting so amped now for the season. I'm ready to go, but always fun talking to them.
I just love that Brandon didn't want to talk about their biggest fight. And Freddie's like, nah.
And Freddie's like, nah.
Oh, we fought, bro.
What I love about that is it's a family, right? In the pits and anywhere else. And, Todd Schaefer's wife has to break up those two and then go knock on the parents' camper door. That's great. I love it.
So let's catch up a little bit. Some big news in the offseason, and I'm going to pull up here the driver rosters. I guess before that, let's talk about Racing Extravaganza real quick. I know we did a recap video, but I just wanted to touch on it because it was a great time. Like I said, gets us excited for the season here. Talk to a lot of people. Make sure you guys, if you go on our Facebook and our YouTube, been uploading the videos. I got to talk to a young 600 racer named Eli Kennedy. Races at Greenwood Valley and will be racing at McGrew-Bid Motoplex at BAPS this year. 10 years old, and
go like their page.
Yeah, go like their page.
Photo page. His dad's a really nice guy. Eli killed it.
And remember the name, because one thing I love about watching the Tulsa Shootout is when they interview all these little kids, and some of them and I said it on Saturday. I'm like, man, some of these kids are so ready. They're just so personable, and it's great. It was just, and when I was talking to Eli, he's just like, I'm gonna go fast and don't lift, just kind of giving you those sound bites and everything. And he's going to Tulsa later this year for the shootout, so definitely keep that a name. He's already in a micro. I mean, he's pretty young to be in a micro, so definitely a name to keep an eye on. Matthew Bird, one of our good friends here, always in the chat every week. Go-kart racer. Chris, you got to sit down with
that was
him.
A fun one there, talking about the breast cancer awareness go-kart. Cool story there. So obviously look at that, and obviously follow his racing season, because last year he took some time off, limited schedule. This year he's gonna get back into it, and as being a Sasquatch looking motherfucker, he can still drive a go-kart. So props to him. He's a cool dude. He's a really cool dude. Been him at the racetrack a few times last year, and one of my favorite people to talk to.
Yeah, he's becoming a good friend of the show. We also and keep an eye out. We're gonna put these out throughout the week. We talked to Olivia Thayer, who won Best in Show, her car.
The People's Choice Award, and that one's
that one's a nice one.
That one,
there's a lot of nice cars there.
Well, just her in general. Jay-Z, you interviewed her twice, as it turned out, but just she did it right. I don't know. I don't think she knew anything about us, or maybe she saw my daughter there, or someone did, and somehow she made a new race fan out of that. Right?
No, she made multiple fans. I'm a fan.
Yeah, she's a fan. I'm a fan too, but it's just whatever she did when when I wasn't there. Big fan, and she's real personable, and she knows how to drive. And I'm excited to hear that interview because I couldn't hear the interviews while we're standing there because the way we had the mic set up. So I'm excited to hear what she had to say and the Steve Wilbur connection and things like that.
Listen, it was great. The couple of interviews that I got to do, Olivia Thayer, man, she is charismatic. She's young. She wants to support girls in racing. She's doing big things. Their family, it's a family-owned deal. She's very talented, just very well spoken, just an amazing ambassador for the sport going forward. So the more support she has, the better. We are all going to be better for it. I'm a fan. Didn't know anything about her other than watching her race last year. Before this, knew she came from the 600 world, but very limited knowledge. Then I got to talk to Austin Reed. Got to talk to Austin Reed. But I'm going to tell you, the star of that interview was Austin.
This is your favorite interview of the weekend.
Right?
I think.
Austin Reed's son is getting into a quarter midget this year, so look for that interview. That was fun. I love Austin. I've loved talking to him. We had him on the friend of the show, right? Had him on before. Austin Reed's son, and we also had Carson Horan. Carson Horan is going to be a talk show host, podcast guy. Announcer at a racetrack. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's going to be big things in his life. We're going to talk. You'll see that interview come out.
That one we unfortunately had some audio issues on, but
we did have.
We're going to still put it out because it was too good not to.
We might have to just bring him on and let him talk. We don't need any of us. Swear to God, we don't need the three of us. He can just run a show. This guy, I love him. And then April Clark. We had April on, who obviously works with Lincoln Baps. She's dating Scott Gobrecht, right? Running queen bitch in charge of the Racing Extravaganza show. That's a great interview. You guys are going to love that.
That was good.
That was a lot of fun. So just a great time, and we'll be releasing these as we go out. And if anyone has any questions,
Cody Fletcher as well, right?
What's that?
Cody
Fletcher.
Cody Fletcher. Yep, we had Cody Fletcher.
Who was my person? His car was my personal favorite.
Beautiful race car. Oh
man, the white car, and then with the chrome. Oh baby, it looks so good.
And we don't have this one, but if someone Gabe, I don't know if he's watching. He has a YouTube channel. April Clark introduced me and Gabe to Jimmy. Great kid. He does some YouTube stuff. He actually has a stand. He does a lot of reviews on diecast and kind of blogging stuff. And he's a cool dude. He's gonna do some pit walks with us once we get into BAP season there. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I look
high school senior doing some stuff on YouTube. I think it was Sensor Racing. Is that right? That's his thing. So that was a cool time.
So yeah, we had a great time there for the few hours we were able to be there all together, at least on Saturday. I know Chris, you went on Friday as well, but just it gets you. The minute I walked into the building, I just got so amped for race season. I'm in race mode now, even though my mind's been in football mode. Go
Your
Birds.
mind's still in football mode. You're still wearing the championship shirt.
Go Birds. Go Birds. But still, now I'm ready to go for race season. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the off-season stuff, some of the things we have looking forward to here. Wrong button almost. I'm gonna pull it up, and this is from Master Gassers. Master Gassers, they do a great job with some of these graphics and stuff that they do on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now. So yeah, I'm kind of using it here. So shout out to them. I want to give them a shout out. Go give them a follow. Just kind of using this here. They've been keeping track of who's running what this year. And obviously the two big ones are the World of Outlaws and High Limit. But some of these other regional series are really starting to grow. You got the Power Eye series. They got a pretty good and they bumped their purses and their points fund and everything up, and they got quite a good list here of drivers. And also the All-Star Circuit of Champions are back, and we actually got to talk to
Rich Farmer.
Thank you. We got to meet and talk to him a little bit on Saturday, and you got Devin Borton, who's going in the number 45. That's going to be out there. And they got a growing list of commitments as well. And they'll be making 2 trips here, one at Williams Grove, one at Lincoln, here to Central PA. So you'll be able to see that up close and personal. And then you got the True Outlaw schedule. You got Jacob Allen going True Outlaw, Brock Zierfoss, Corey Eliason, Ryan Timms, Brady Bacon's going to be running a lot more of a lot more wing stuff. So before we get into high limit and the World of Outlaws, any names here stick out to you?
Yeah, there's some at the bottom, the names to watch. We already know Anthony Macri is running a True Outlaw schedule. He's not committing to any series. His schedule's been put out, right? It's like 1.5 million races.
Right.
Brian Brown's going to be doing True Outlaw. There's no change there.
Yeah.
Scotty Thiel is in Florida right now, right, with his new team, but I don't know if they're committed to any series, but I expect to see him everywhere, right? A little bit of everything, but IRA would make sense to me. Emerson Axum, everyone thought by now he would have committed to a series. Doesn't look like that has happened yet. But I'm curious what Cale Thomas ends up doing, right? Like leaves that ride to try to find something, a better deal. Hasn't come up with anything yet. 8 wins last year. Very curious what happens there. As far as who's on what series, unless it's like the top guys, I don't get too caught up in it because year after year, we see guys drop off.
Yep.
We see guys jump on. We see guys do XYZ, right? Run out of equipment, go home. I love, there's a lot in all of these series. Like, this is really solid. Now, Fast is not, they don't got much going on. NARC there, it doesn't really come on my radar a whole lot. But the All-Stars, IRA, Power Eye, Outlaws, like, there's a lot of people committing to series, not track points titles, right? Like, this is a lot of people committing to series that are going to bounce around everywhere, not living and dying in a track, which is okay. There are a lot of places like Pennsylvania where they can run in an area, run for track titles and make a living or make good money doing it. Pennsylvania is an anomaly, right? You don't see a lot of Pennsylvania guys going out here and running the All-Stars or going and saying, hey, I'm going to go jump up and do this. They don't need to. That True Outlaw schedule is perfectly fine. They can go do what they want to do if they have the funds, but if you can win races around here, you're going to make a living. Not every area in the country can do that. So this tells me there's some healthy things going on, but at the same time, I'm not going to get too over the top about any of them because things change.
Right. Yeah, there's some names that when you see them pop up that they're going to commit to running something specific. There's been a couple where I'm like, do they make it to June? You know what I mean? And that's no, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just kind of like, there's a lot of drivers on these tours. You know what I mean? And it ain't easy, So,
and kind of like Tyler just mentioned with the Parker Price Miller for Knoxville, my thing is not so much a name that's on the list; it's who's not. If you're AJ Flegg, I know work's a problem, but like a Fast Series All-Star kind of feels like something that he could probably go be competitive in. And I get there's more to it than that, but that's someone I wish would take a shot at it because I think he's talented enough.
But I think he would with funding, right?
I think he's talented enough. I think he's gonna go to Lernerville. He's probably gonna win the track championship, dominate the races, and I love that for him, and that's good for him. I just wish he had the opportunity to go against Fast or go against the All-Stars. I think he would do very well.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll run a bunch. You know what I mean? There's
Champion. I could see him winning an All-Star championship potentially because they run a lot of places that he's good at.
Yeah, I would say for the All-Stars, my favorite right now would probably be Brandon Spithaller to win that one.
Right.
I'm going to go with Caleb Henry.
That's a good one too. He's pretty good.
I'm going to go with Devin Borden just because.
But it's exciting. Our good buddy Alex Robinson, he is confirmed he will be the full-time announcer for the All-Star Circuit of Champions. If you're a fan of the show, he's been on the show a couple times. We did the Bridgeport pre-race show with him, so good opportunity for him. It'll be cool to hear him again. And they got a pretty good, like a nice, solid list of commitments there that should help that series restart. Let's talk about the All-Stars, the All-Stars. High Limit. and the Outlaws. Long list of commitments here. 14 right now for the Outlaws, which is probably the biggest that we've had pretty close in a while. And then High Limit has 13. Some of the new additions to the Outlaws: Garrett Williamson, Cole Macedo, Skylar G, Zach Hampton in the Bill Rose 6, Hunter Schoenberg back in the 55, and Chris Wyndham in the Jason Side 7S. A big rookie class there. Out of those rookies, who's the one that you got an eye on?
I think Zach Hampton was Rookie of the Year.
Okay. So is that one of your bold takes? Because
I was going to say we're not doing bold predictions.
We're not in the bold take section yet, Chris.
That was something I thought about before.
That's extremely bold.
You didn't put a lot of thought into that.
I just think he has the speed. If he can figure out how not to junk the shit, he'll be okay.
Well, that's a big part of it. Turns out.
Yeah.
But it turns out these other guys
being able to run
also
every
junk
race,
for shit, and/or you, Chris Wyndham, don't have speed. So,
all right. For me, this is the easiest one you're going to ask me all year. If it's not Cole Macedo, something's wrong.
I think I could see Schoenberg maybe giving him a run for his money, just because in that 55, if they seem to get back on the pace that they were at one point in time when they were originally together. But then there's times where Schoenberg just disappeared, and that was on the All-Star Tour.
You take a whole season, put a whole
season. I agree with you, Cole Macedo. It's
right. Cole Macedo can win multiple races as
he can. Yep.
Tell me which other ones on this list could win multiple races this year.
Right, and I'm not saying that Wayne Johnson's car is. It's not what the top guys' cars are.
But
I mean, I guess it could be. Know. I guess that remains to be seen. But, you know, if someone's going to get the most out of that, it's going to be Cole. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he clicked a couple wins off.
And listen, we'll be fair. He's wrecked a lot of race cars too, but he's also run up front with the best of the best.
Right.
More
I think
than
he really improved a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was a couple. The year before. like a couple years, that's just kind of like, oh, Cole's out there, watch out. You know what I mean? And last year he was running up front and battling, running clean. You know, you're gonna have run-ins. Don't get me wrong, especially if you're aggressive, which we know the Macedos can be. But you kind of have to be when you're running against the best of the best. You have to go be aggressive. So, yeah, I agree with you. Cole Macedo's definitely, if there was odds-on favorite, it's definitely him. And then we got Go ahead.
Yeah, High Limit, right? Same thing. There's 4.
Well, 3.
Aaron
Reitzel is not eligible for it.
Right. So of those 3, Jason Persley, Cy Lynch, and Danny Sams. When I pick a favorite here, I'm not down playing these other guys. But to me, this is Jason Persley or bust. And there's no offense to Cy Lynch. Cy Lynch has been running. He's been traveling. He's ran with some great, he's had some good runs up front with good competition. Danny Sams was sort of a breakout last year, kind of everywhere. They're going to have their moments, I think, where you're going to see that name and you're going to be like, oh, shit, look at this run. But Jason Persley, I think, could be a top 5 or 6 point guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he's that talented. And he doesn't have tons of wing experience yet, but doesn't seem to matter. This kid just gets it done. So I think that could be a battle, right? Because I think there's going to be maybe some momentum runs with all these guys in different parts of the year. They're all going to have their moments. They're all going to have struggles. But for me, it's Jason Persley or bust. That's my opinion.
That's kind of I'm going to save it for later because
I tend to agree. I think Cy Lynch wins this Rookie of the Year, but I agree. Jason Persley, pure talent.
Plus, out of those 3, that 13 car is the only one that's run a full-time tour before. You know what I mean? Danny Sams has run a lot. Obviously, Cy Lynch has traveled a lot, but this is their first time actually going on a full-time tour. That 13 car is tried and true on the road. You know what I mean? I think and so has Jason. He's been on the road, albeit with USAC before.
I'll say,
I think that is a big factor. You know what I mean when it comes to that.
Outside of that, Aaron Reitzel is going to be a problem for the
He's not a rookie.
I meant not for the High Limit, just in general for the series.
Oh.
Because we know how good he was before the whole incident with Ross and stuff.
I agree.
We know he can drive a damn race car. Okay. So he's going to have all that experience with a team that has the funding. I think he's going to be a night in, night out contender.
Sounds good. Hey,
Yeah.
you want to know the best name on this whole list of people? The best name, Preston Perlmutter. I mean, that is the best name, man. What a great name that is. Just say it. It sounds great when you say it.
It does.
Anyway.
I like that name.
Sorry.
I like that name.
Couldn't help it. Preston Perlmutter. What a great name.
And then the USAC Sprint Car Tour, they have a pretty solid roster forming themselves. You got Briggs Danner. We've been kind of clamoring at this for the past 2 years for him to go out full time, and it looks like he finally is. And kind of replacing what Brady Bacon, Brady Bacon does leave. I'm sure he will be running still, just won't be running full time. So, yeah. Anything else before I hold this down here? Before we get into bold predictions?
Bold predictions.
Let's get into bold predictions.
Let's
man.
do it. I'm ready.
I'll start. I'm gonna go with my least bold take out of the three, I feel like. Carson Macedo wins the World of Outlaw Championship. I know it doesn't seem, it's kind of bold though, just because of how good David Gravel has been, but Macedo really, he changed my opinion on him last year. Not that I didn't think he didn't have talent, but I didn't know if he was ever going to have that consistency. And man, did he have it last year, the last half? Go ahead.
Just to piggyback off that, my one I will use. My first one was David Gravel will not win the World of Outlaws Championship.
Well, that's not bad. That's pretty bold. Okay.
Somebody other than David Gravel is going to win the World of Outlaws Championship this year.
Yeah, my pick is Carson Macedo. I think I know he finished second last year. He ran really well, but I think you see.
If I had to say one in my head, it would be Logan Schuchart was going to win it. But
Jimmy, listen, you may not know this, but you just did something that just made my stomach turn. This is the prediction that the Huset's heckler on Twitter said.
Oh, did he?
He did. You don't know this, but you're now in that category.
Yeah, whatever. I
don't. Amazing.
Oh, bro. Come on, man. But I saw that, and I was like, as soon as you said it, I went, wait a minute. Where did I see that? Someone else.
I did not know that. I don't really. I see his.
I don't see anything from that idiot,
every once in a while, but that was my. When I first said, "Hey guys, get bold predictions together." That was
my second one that popped in my
head.
head. This is the second thing that popped in my head after my other one.
Chris,
I said mine. It's your turn.
Oh,
of course, Jimmy and I have a similar one because we're basically twins and we're dating. By the way,
there will be 4.
Go ahead.
4.
There will be 4 first-time winners in Central PA this season in the 410 division.
Oh, spicy.
Okay.
4.
Who are they?
Who are some names?
I didn't write the names down.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think here. Drink out loud. Like who's somebody that hasn't had a win yet? My first one was Preston Latimus. Obviously, that'll be tough. But
yeah, that'll be tough.
Al Keen, Port Royal.
Woo.
Well, my thought, for Port Royal, I was thinking like Devin Adams. He's on year 4 at Port Royal, right? Like he's a guy who's been around. He's seen some things.
Walter's a good one,
right? Like I could go with that. I guess I have to look up some of the guys who haven't won, but like Ryan Taylor at Williams Grove in the 1W could, from the front row one night maybe. And forgive me if Ryan has won at Williams Grove. No offense. But right there, George Wood, Logan Rumsey at Lincoln Speedway. Now, Logan's not going to run a lot of 410 stuff. It'll be mostly Baps, a sprinkling of Lincoln. Okay. But the other one is Cody Hartlaw at Lincoln Speedway in a 410.
Ooh.
So, that would be a guy that would put on that list. He's had some moments.
I thought he already won the 410.
Huh?
He hasn't.
I personally thought he already won in the 410.
Last year was his rookie season.
No. So, I just think if you spread it out across central Pennsylvania, there's 4 first-time winners this year. Okay. There you go. It's Ryan Taylor has won a race. So you pick them. I didn't look at names. I just think 4 is a number this year. I think it gets
four first
And
time
I will,
winners. Okay.
I will take my second bold prediction to piggyback off that. Williams Grove will have a first-time track champion this year.
Damn it. So
Jimmy.
my next prediction was all track championships in the area. BAPS, Lincoln, Williams Grove, Port Royal will all have first-time champions at those tracks.
Ooh, I didn't go that far.
I want Williams Grove to have a first-time track champion.
I think all 4.
Okay, so you guys.
I could definitely see that. Like I could see. I think the biggest spoiler could be either Troy or Freddie at Lincoln, but
I thought Troy was going to win Williams Grove.
Yeah, for sure.
I wrote down Troy Wagaman wins Williams Grove and Lincoln.
Right.
Okay.
So when I had this thought, it was Troy Wagaman's going to win the Williams Grove track championship to be a new Williams Grove track champion, because we've had Freddie, Domination, Lance, Danny.
My second true bold prediction: the Posse will not win an outlaw race this season.
Woof.
I don't think it's really bold because they didn't win one last year, did they?
TJ Stutz did, but okay.
Oh, TJ Stutz.
Jesus Christ, Jimmy.
Coincidentally, one of my honorable mentions was I didn't choose this, but it was Posse was going to win all the outlaw races. But I felt like too much of a homer to say it.
And then I'll just go with my third one, circle this back around. Justin Whittall wins the Port Royal Track Championship.
Oh, there it is.
Now,
I have an opinion on the track.
Hear me out on this. This is if he runs it for the title. I don't know if he is. I reached out to Justin, and he said, I'm not sure. If he runs for the title, Justin Whittall is your Port Royal Track champ in 2025.
I was going to say Brock was going to win Port Royal, but I don't know if he's running for that championship.
Based on his schedule, he may miss some races. So I looked at that.
He's going. Yeah, he's running True Outlaw schedule, so he won't be running anything full time. I think the closest thing will actually be Williams Grove for him, but he's going to miss a few.
Is Dietz running with the Stamen team?
Yes.
Has that schedule come out?
I don't think so, but I would imagine that they would run.
Dave's getting ready to tell us here in a minute because we asked. That was my thing. I thought Brock was going to probably be the favorite for that championship, so I didn't use that. Of course, Freddie and Danny are the favorites at Williams Grove and Lincoln. That's givens, right? Way too early predictions those are your favorites.
And then Babs, it's been a lot of Danny there, but I could see Troy winning.
No, Dave says no. Whatever that means.
No, schedule's not out. I'm sure.
I can see Justin Whittall fastest.
With the momentum, he has. I think there's consistency and some wins now. I think it could happen, right? And listen, we don't know. Chase Dietz could have won the title if the trailer didn't break down or crash, right? Whatever happened there, right? Like it could have, should have, would have. We don't know. Port Royal, I think, has been one of the more up in the air championships the last year or two. Like last year, especially, we all thought we knew what was coming. We didn't know what was coming, right? Like. Just an interesting year there. Williams Grove and Lincoln, I think we have the contenders, right? Lincoln could be a battle this season. To be quite fair, it was last year without us realizing it was going to be. Freddie, Troy, Matt Campbell, Aaron Bollinger, there was some battles. So I'm interested. Right? I know. Listen, there's different people have different takes on track titles and how important they are to people. But they matter to people. They matter to the drivers that win them. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, wants to sign up for it. They're there to win it. So,
hey, Chris Gray. Chris Gray just mentioned this 5W. Watch out. I didn't put a bold prediction in. As I saw that and went, I need to think about this more. Just watch the 5W this year.
I mean, I still have one.
Chris, put the damn sticks down.
Jimmy, go ahead with your final prediction.
My final prediction, this is probably my boldest. I kind of saved it for last. Dason Pursley gets 7 wins on the high limit tour.
Holy shit!
I was gonna say 5, but I'm gonna ramp up the boldness because I don't think 7 is. I think once he figures it out, and he figures it out quick. I think once he figures it out, I mean, we've already seen him have some pretty good speed there. He's gonna have some growing pains and stuff in that car and being in a wing sprint car, but I think he's gonna catch on pretty quick, and I think he's gonna contend. Maybe not necessarily contend for the title, but he'll easily be in the top 5.
Wow.
Points.
Okay. So I want to look up something here because I want to what you just said and compare it to something. So let's see here. 2024 wins, high limit. So you're saying 7 wins.
I was gonna say 5, but yeah, I'll go 7.
Corey Day had 8 last year with high limit. So you're telling me that Dason Pursley is going to have a Corey Day.
Let me scale it back to 5 then, because that was my original bold take was 5.
Okay, I like 5 to me is bold.
7 is.
We're fans of Dason Pursley. I think he is one of the next currently rising superstars in the sport. That's a lot for a rookie season, full-time tour, full-time wing. But and here's the thing with high limit, it's no handicapping. You don't get to just start on the front row because of points. You got to go earn it every lap. Every lap matters, Jimmy. Hashtag. Okay. That's a lot. It's a young guy, not a lot of wing experience against a field of wing experience.
5 high limit races, maybe 7 total wins. Maybe he gets them somewhere else when high limit's not racing. I could see him getting anywhere between 5 to 8 victories total.
Listen, I don't want to talk you out of your bold prediction, my guy, but
I talked myself into a bolder prediction than I really originally wanted to. Mine was originally 5. I actually have it written in my phone that way.
Ben Thomas says CJB gets a win in Central PA. When does that win happen? Which series? Does he come off the series to run local? How do you
see?
Oof.
I said get 5+ wins and a Macedo wins World of Outlaw title. Those were my notes.
You went even more bold and went 7.
Yes, I did.
My last one is definitely hard picks. It's gonna be a twofer. Brian Brown's gonna win the Knoxville Nationals, and Darren Pittman's gonna win the National Open. Finally.
How many years in a row have you predicted this? I feel like every year. I feel like
I'm parlaying this bitch, man. I'm parlaying it this time.
Delaying this bitch is what you're doing.
I could get down with the Darren Pittman one for sure. I think he's gonna at what they showed last year in the limited starts that they had.
He flipped too many times.
What's that?
He just kept crashing at really bad times, like in the heat race.
It crashed right in front of me. Hit that tire. I was like, there goes a crash button.
Maybe if he didn't do that, that would have helped. But it's fine. It's my third bold take.
Let's get to some of the there's been some fan ones here. And actually, I want to piggyback here, Dave Scott Smeltzer, because this was going to be if my bonus one. He says Justin Peck wins high limit title, which is kind of a little bit of recency just because he's running so well. But I think he finishes top 10 in money this year. That was going to be my other bold prediction. He finished like 14th or 15th in money last year. I think he gets up into the top 10. I could see that.
Yeah, a little bit of recency bias here. I mean, 360 races against 360 race fields. Okay. High limit title is a lot. You're knocking off Brad Sweet, Brent Marks, Rico Abreu.
Oh yeah, yep.
You're listen. I'm a Justin Peck believer. Like, I think for the last 2 years he should have been a 10+ win guy, right? Like, we'll see.
Let's. Mandy says, I agree with Preston Latimus getting a win. Maybe Dominic Miller too, which I thought that's a good one because
I like Dominic Miller. If it continues, and I don't know if he has the same help back this year. You know, we'll have to see him in the spring, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it. Preston, I think, is going to learn some lessons. Preston's a gasser, might take him some learning, but
yeah, he's going to have a big learning curve. But he would not surprise me if he did get a win at the same time. I think for him, it's going to be all consistency and learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
George Wood here. Bold take. Sealands Grove will have a track champion this
Hey,
year.
based
What
on
a
last
funny
year, that's
guy.
pretty bold.
That is. Santos says, bold take. Seraphos cracks double-digit wins this year. I'm not even that bold.
You know,
I think
my first bold take, I had Brock with 8+ wins.
I could see 7 or 8. I don't know about double-digit. I think that's tough. But he is running like 185 races, so.
Yeah. He's running a lot of, what did I say, 100 and, what's
was
the
like
number?
Him and
110?
Danny are basically running the same schedule, it seemed like.
Yeah. Look like 110 scheduled races or something.
Yeah. Mandy says Wagman wins track championship at Williams Grove. Tyler Koenig, Cody Hartlob, Doug Hammaker, Derek Locke at Williams Grove, Cassidy Kreitz at Port Royal, your 4 first-time winners.
Huh. Listen. Okay.
Is Derek Locke running 410s full time?
Not full time.
So
he will
I think
run
that
them.
one's going to be tough. Cassidy, she was sneaky on the bottom last year, and when the track can be dominant there, you never know. But yeah, those were pretty bold.
That's bold.
He also had more bold prediction. Someone other than Steve Owens wins the track championship at Lincoln. Bold prediction number 3. Ashley Capetta wins multiple races at Lincoln this year.
Yeah, listen, I'm okay with, like, I like Steve Owens. I'm fine with someone else winning, and I agree with him. There's definitely a few names that, like, yeah, I could see that. What the hell?
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely I'm out of focus. Oh my god.
Definitely less bold than the first two, because I could.
Shit's broke. There we go.
I could see
it's not fixed. Okay, cool. Good to know. What do you guys think? 358 points championship at Lincoln.
I mean, I think you have to know who's going for it.
A lot. Like 68 drivers.
Are you talking like a Cody Fletcher or Logan Rumsey?
I was going to say Logan, but
that was kind of my thought, was Logan Rumsey.
I think
he goes for it.
Yeah, Logan Rumsey, right, is top of my list. Aiden Hare.
Yeah.
Aiden Wolf is back, it looks like. I saw some things about
that. He's back.
Okay. Consistency. Cody Fletcher, absolutely. Right. If the 34 if that deal's back together, the Ford, the 34, the blue 34 won 2 races. Oh shit. Which is Andy Best. Okay. If they run the whole schedule.
Jude Siegel.
Okay. Shit. Tyler Ulrich hasn't gotten a win yet, but he's always in contention. There's some talent in that field. Okay.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I will always root for Ashley Capetta to win multiple races.
And I think that's
she's
a realistic thing.
The rabbit's foot figured out. Yeah. Right. There's got to be something figured out with the draw. Pass cars, start up front, win up front. You start the year hot, win a race. Guess what? When handicapping starts, you're starting 12. You better be able to pass all those cars, right? Got to be able to do it at Lincoln and 358. Those racetracks. It's not hard, not easy to pass in these features all the time. So that's why that field gets so spread out, and you don't see multiple. You don't see guys winning 6-8 races in that division at Lincoln.
I think with her, it's definitely not a skill issue. It's, like you said, the rabbit foot. Like, gets herself by no fault of her own, just like random pill draw, buried. Can pass cars. You've seen it. I don't think 2 wins is outside the realm of possibility by any means.
The other one there, Jude Siegel. Watch out. Okay. The improvement he made from year 1 to year 2, then got hurt. Jude Siegel, he could sneak up and win a handicap race. Don't get yourself sideways about Jude. He's going to be a little race car driver, I think. Dylan Orwig, a little heat. Jeff Halligan, Port Royal champ. I love it.
This is good.
James here says Doug. He was talking. This is going back to the 4 first-time winners: Doug Hammaker at Port, Chris Frank at Williams Grove, Logan Rumsey at Babs, and Cody Hartlob at Lincoln.
That is probably a spot-on list.
Yeah, I do. I like that list.
Damn close to it.
Mandy's big bold prediction: either Troy or TJ Stutz wins the Speed Week Championship this year.
Listen, Andy, there's a birdie flying around a little. Now, I haven't heard any updates in the last few weeks, but word is TJ's going to Florida. And if Florida goes well, you might see TJ head out of Florida and not come to PA.
Hey. How about that one?
Haven't heard any updates recently. But if Florida goes well, you might not see TJ back in PA for a little bit. So we'll see.
And we don't know if Troy's going to run the whole week again.
I hope he does.
That's out of his
I think
comfort
after
zone.
the success last year, I would imagine, but you never
Quality,
know.
and that was out of their comfort zone from what they historically do. So
They did pretty damn good.
they did very good.
Ben's bold prediction: CJB5 gets a win in Central PA. That's his bold pick.
Who's driving it?
Isn't that Brennan Crouch?
But will that be the driver when they get the win?
Oh, that's hey. Santos here gets bold prediction. Justin Peck wins the High Limit Championship, showing a lot of speed as of late. Again, I think he looks really good in that 26 car, and that 26 car, it's championship worthy.
Zeb looked good in it when he first got in it too.
Right, so it's gonna be about consistency with them. To compete for a title, especially against guys like Rico and Brad and Tyler Courtney, and then you got Dace and you got Brent. It's going to be tough, but that's a pretty bold prediction still in my eyes. After the 360 show, put the adult beverages away. Calm down. A 7 was a little bold, but I'm still going with 5. Daniel Leaf, my 3 bold and crazy prediction. Brock Zierfoss wins PA Speed Week. Chris Frank wins one of the 2 Clinton County races, and Garrett Bard gets his first win at Port Royal. I love all 3 of those. Of course, I love the Brock Zierfoss one, but I really like those other
Frank
2.
one.
I like those
That'd
other
be
2.
fun as hell.
By the way, first Clinton County race, the one of that's Kings Royal weekend. That one just got bumped up thanks to some tourism grant money. Got bumped up to $7,500 for Clinton County. So how about that one?
Jesus Christ. Randy. Put up Randy's comment he just put up.
I mean, that's not that bold.
I predict Billy Dietrich will get called for jumping the start at Lincoln. That's almost a given at this point.
Billy.
There's the other one here. Jay Carkland wins at Port.
Oh, Jay Carkland's another one, man. I want to get him on the show. We need to. We need to get him on the show.
Jake, come on,
Conversations were happening.
Yeah. I think he was one of my guys that last year. I'm like, he's gonna turn some heads and he's gonna win a race. He came close. He ran really well some races and got into some bad luck. But I think definitely this year. Jack Young, happy birthday, Jimmy from the Asian. Thank you, Jack.
Jimmy's like 50 now, right?
Man, I don't want to talk about it. And what else?
Matthew Bird, maybe the 5W gets a Speed Week championship. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
that's a heart pick all day long. That's kind of like my Pittman and Brown thing.
Chase Dietz has a breakout season, says Brady. I thought Chase Dietz had a breakout season 2 years ago. Now at this point,
he's had breakout seasons, but he hasn't had the wins that are called breakout.
True, that's true.
He said, "Hey, I'm running up front. I'm time trialing every week. We're finishing second, third isn't a breakout season.
That could happen this year.
He's not winning.
I had a Chase Dietz prediction on my sheet, but I didn't want Dave Smeltzer to crash out on me. Okay, for me pumping him up too much, I didn't want him to crash out on live. All right, so
Jack Young's prediction is Mike Walter wins at Port or the Grove finally this year.
Love that for him.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm here for that. I hope I'm there to witness it.
Yes.
I can definitely see. I mean, I'm really excited for Port's roster this year. Brock's going to be there a lot, obviously. Chase should be there a lot as well. We'll see what happens with Logan Wagner, but I'm sure he'll figure out a way. I'm hoping to be there. It sounds like, obviously still have Mike Wagner there, but then you got Whittle. You got Mike Walter. You got Garrett Bard, who was running there last year as well. Kyle Keene.
That Lance DeWeese guy?
Lance
He's
DeWeese.
still out there. He's still on the turf.
I mean, just that roster's got to be I think both there and Lincoln are going to be great. But
what about that Ryan Smith in that 69K?
Oh yeah, Ryan Smith in the 69K, man, that's a big one.
He might be a problem.
Forgot about that, didn't you?
Yeah,
that could be. Listen,
problem for somebody.
We kind of talked about this a little bit. I was talking with somebody about this at the show. This could be the pairing that people go, "Whoa!" Right? That when Lance got in, everybody was like, "Okay, all right," and it became what it was. Ryan Smith is at a point in his career, and they're at a point in their journey. This could be the right time this time. The right time for him, the right time for them. This could be very dangerous at Williams Grove, at Port Royal, wherever Ryan Smith gets in it. He drove it one time last year. You know what he did? Broke the track record at BAPS in time trials.
Sorry, I'm just reading that last
We were there. Remember that? Broke the track record, time trials.
Yeah, he did.
First time back in the car. He said it drove itself around the racetrack. I didn't even do anything.
I mean, that it goes to show.
See, but and even as me being an idiot, I didn't even put him down as a bold prediction, but I could easily approach the 10-win number for the 69K this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Ryan's...
Christopher Bell being in that car.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You know what I mean? I know it's only a few races, but man, he could win every single one he goes into.
That's next week, right? In Florida. Does that happen?
Jesus Christ. Austin
Florida?
Griffey.
Yeah, that's the that's I almost choked before.
This
Danny
guy-
Dietrich wins both National Open nights,
Okay,
man.
all right. We're going to do bold predictions. Okay, let's see.
Would that not make him a two-time National Open winner, though?
Let's see. Bold predictions. Let's see. Chase Elliott wins 55 races in Central PA in a sprint car this year. Yeah, let's just be bold.
So
that's pretty bold.
Here's this. So little Freddie never won the National Open. What year is he on?
10?
All right, he's got 10 more years.
More than that? Shit,
Definitely
I
more
don't
than
even know.
10.
Huh?
No. 10's probably right because Big Fred won it in 2013. So.
And Fred, well, didn't Freddie that year? They were both racing, weren't they?
Stevie was racing that car, wasn't
Oh
he?
yeah, Stevie, but then Freddie. This is not what I want to see.
Anyway, it's not important. But I mean, we're getting up there in years where Freddie's
2014. He ran 29 races in 2014. So 11 years, 10 years. Yeah, damn, pretty good for guessing.
Yeah.
2015 was his first really full-time season. So yeah, 10, goddamn, look at me guessing.
9 years since Danny's won the National Open. So there's that. He won that in 2016.
Who was in the 39 since Cody left? I don't think they
Randy,
announced it yet.
It is dormant at this point until heard otherwise.
Yes.
It is not. They are not racing until everyone hears otherwise.
Right. So we'll see. I'm sure they will. Oh, something that was announced before we came on the air. Steven Snyder Jr. will be racing the Hefner South 27 car.
Again. This time.
Yeah.
All-stars scattering around Ohio, PA.
Yeah, I don't think they put out like a concrete schedule yet, but it sounds like they'll be doing some traveling.
Yeah, a little bit of true outlaw / all-star / whatever they want to do.
Yep.
New scheme also. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way,
mm-hmm.
all the Hefner cars are gonna have a new scheme.
Yes.
Wait till you all see it. Can't wait till you all see it officially.
Got to see the sneak preview via Troy. And man, I love it, man. I love it.
Here. Don't.
Also, did you
know how I feel about it?
Troy released his new shirt. Just announced new shirt. Then we get closer in a couple weeks. You're going to see a new scheme, new shirts, new merch. Whew. Man, I'm hyped.
Yes, same here. About time to change the wardrobe here in my closet. You know, with all new sprint car shirts.
It's time.
You know,
I'm gonna have to get a new Brent wing. It's finally changed the scheme. I have to figure out how to get a new wing for the year. Stack up on the wall here.
I have one more bold prediction.
Oh,
Brett Perigo gets a win this year.
Let's go. Got a new car, right?
New car this year.
New car, new logo, new trophy girl. He's gonna win a race.
Oh no!
Do it. Shout out Brett Perigo. He's going to get a win.
All right. Are we done?
Yeah,
One more question from Matt. Heard anything about Dylan Sisti? No, I have not heard anything. Hopefully we hear something soon.
I mean, running out of time to hear something soon.
Yeah. For him to put something together, I doubt you would see him full time in anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if even if he was in a car for a full time Port Royal season, but hopefully we see him out there at some point this season and get something together.
Completely unrelated. Did you guys see the Anthony Jackson paint sort of mock-up release of the new car? Black race car.
Black.
Oh yeah.
Looks good. Wing with Sportsman. He put out a schedule there. Pretty aggressive schedule for his final year.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up then. Next week, I'm excited for this one. Next week,
It'll be a fun one.
we got Jordan Givler and Dylan Orwig both on the show with us next week. We're gonna talk about how the whole deal came together and talk about what they're looking forward to doing with that 2D this upcoming 2025 season. And it's the night after the Super Bowl. I'm a big Eagles fan. I was already talking some smack to Jordan on Saturday. He's a big Chiefs fan. So, one of us is going to be really happy to be here. The other person might not be. So,
and two of us are going to love the show, and that is
but yeah, we're excited for that one. We're back in full action. Also, World of Outlaws kickoff this week down in Volusia. It starts. I think they have a practice night Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday they race, I believe. But they'll have a ton of cars down there. They had like 50 some for. I was surprised by the amount of cars they had for ASCS, and a lot of those guys are going to stay down there along with the stacked Outlaw roster plus some more. So you probably see another 50 cars down there for the Outlaw shows down there. So that'll be on Dirt Vision this week. We'll talk about that next week as well. And then we'll probably find something else to preview. And we got some other cool things lined up here in the future. Bold prediction. Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's right. Go Birds. Tyler Koenig, yes. We did say this in our video earlier, but we're really excited this year. Not that we're just excited for the landscape of sprint car social media here in Central PA, because you have us on Monday nights. Sprint Car Unlimited, Jeremy Elliott has a new call-in show on Tuesday nights coming up live. And then Tyler Koenig has his Tyler's Racing Roundup on Wednesday nights. So 3 nights in a row where you can get all different, all your sprint car, Central PA sprint car content. So that's pretty cool. I think it's a great thing.
Basically, once we piss you off on Mondays, call Jeremy Elliott on Tuesdays and cry about it. And Tyler will set the facts straight on Wednesdays.
So yeah, if I could take 30 seconds, I want to get into this for a minute, because there's this thing out there that says, competition and this and that. We, the three of us, we don't do this for any gain of our own. None. We're here because we're fans. We want to talk about it. We're friends. We enjoy it. We watch it. We built some relationships in the pits and talked to some drivers, and we want to not just talk to the stars of the sport. We want to talk to the up and coming and the young and the guys that don't have a voice every weekend. But we're not for everybody. Tyler, he has his thing. Yeah. Jeremy Elliott, obviously a big name in the sport. He does what he does. There is plenty of room for all of us. And we can be Mondays. Jeremy's going to be Tuesdays with his new deal. Tyler on Wednesdays. It's all a little different, right? We all do it a little bit differently in how we've looked at this and go about it. Check it out, right? We want to do what we do. We've talked with, partners and different things and what we want to do. And we want to stay true to us and what we do. And we're going to be here on Monday nights. We're going to do what we do. This is our spot. I don't know if, this is our thing. Yeah. But one of the things we're going to add into in 2025 is some at-track stuff. When we can be together, at least 2 of the 3 of us, right? Whether it's me and Chris or Chris and Jimmy or whoever, we're all not going to be in the same place every week. We all live in different areas, but we will be at some of these special events. maybe doing some pre-race live stuff. We're gonna have some speakers, do a PA kind of deal, stop by, have a drink, hang out, do whatever. We want to continue to expand what we do. We've never really sought out partners looking for money. We all have lives. We have, jobs. This is fun for us. This is entertainment for us as much as it is for y'all. Glad y'all follow along. Tell your friends, stop in, download it, favorite it, like it, do all the things that people say you're supposed to do when they want to make this out of a living. We don't want to make a living out of it, but if it grows, we continue to want to do this and put our time into it, right? The little bit. I told someone this weekend, people were asking about shirts and stickers, and we're like, we're not really prepared for that because we don't really we got lives. Like we don't think about it that often. We do, but we don't, right? We put the time in and take it just serious enough, but want to keep it true to what it is. I think we have a good thing going here. So, But again, check us out on Mondays. We'll always promote these other people that are doing a good job and promoting this sport for the right reasons, So there's enough content to go around, enough people in this sport to talk to in different ways, or we just hear Tyler talk to himself, But he had Ashley on. He did have a guest on. He does a good job. So we love Tyler.
Yeah, we've had him on a couple times before too. We like bringing him on when we have Fender cars to talk about.
Even
we
though
don't
we
really
love
know exactly what we're
Tyler,
talking about. So we love Tyler and definitely check out his stuff for sure. I forgot about this. Drink it or dump it. I forgot. I knew there was something.
Doing it all night.
So let's do drink it or dump it. Matthew Bird says, drink it to you guys for the first of the 2025 season. And thank you for the great time at Racing Extravaganza. Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thanks,
and I'm going to drink it to just being back and seeing everybody's lovely face in the chat and seeing a lot of familiar names. It was nice being back on Saturday and, got to meet a lot of new people, but also got to see a lot of familiar ones I haven't seen in a few months. So, very, very awesome. And I'm going to dump it to... I'll dump it to George Wood because he's a Commanders fan. So go Birds.
That was awful. Chris?
I don't have a dump it because, we're too early in the year. But drink it just so that, April Clark and the whole team at Racing Extravaganza and what they put together there with the pageants and getting these cars there and the drivers, whether it be Olivia or even our friends Troy, Wyatt Hinkle was there, but just being there, right, interacting with the fans and the kids and the pageant girls, all that stuff. What they did for the kids makes that big. That event I feel is one of two things. It's either you're an industry person and you're there talking with partners and stuff like that, or you're there trying to get kids involved. And I think they all did a great job of doing that. And drink it to that and dump it for. I don't even do drugs, Randy.
Yeah, Randy says dump it for Chris being stone banging on the drums.
Drink it for me to Racing Extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
Great show, great job, great people organizing, putting that together. And as you'll see, the theme of that is it's about the cars. If you have a car, bring it to that show, support that show. It's York. It's the only one we have in York. You can go to Motorsports and you can go to Motorama, and that's fine. They're big. But York has its thing, and I want to see it survive. Selfishly, it's where I've been going since I was a kid, every single spring, winter, to see that thing. So if you have a race car next season, next year, you have it ready, go support that show. Just drop your damn car off. You don't even have to stay. Just drop it off and come back and pick it up. Nobody gives a shit if you're there. Just drop it off. Anyway, drink it to that show. Love that show. And listen, I'm still a fan, but it was the first year we were really kind of involved, if that makes sense. In my whole life, right? I'm 40, whatever year old. But it's the first year I've been involved with it. And it just means even more. So dump it that I don't know what Logan Wagner and Dylan Cisney are doing yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're just better that they're racing, and I hope that they are better when we go to Port Royal and see them racing, no matter what. So hopefully that's still a thing, right? Because let's step back and look at the Port Royal roster. who will and won't be there. It may not be as robust in years past. Devin Borden, Dylan Cisney, Logan Wagner. The 23 might pick and choose. Like, we don't know. The 1Z's not there. Kyle Keene may focus only Williams Grove. So or Port.
I thought he was going to focus more on Port, but
Port, not Williams Grove. Sorry, but just dump it to that we don't know, and hopes that we see those guys on the racetrack this year.
Yeah. Even if it's not in a full-time capacity.
Yeah.
We want to see him out there for especially the bigger shows.
You see Cisney win the daytime show.
Yeah, it's not a
classic.
Right.
That's it. I gotta see it. It's gotta happen. So
little birdie told me Logan is driving the 55.
I've heard that too.
I've heard that a little bit too.
Which 55? The one that Dad's in, or another 55?
Right.
Like what's the deal? We're getting down to it here.
We are getting down to it, but yeah, we're only 3 weeks away from the icebreaker, pretty much.
3 weeks.
Talking about an ice storm in 2 days, but we're 3 weeks from an icebreaker.
Checks out.
It's February.
Santos says, drink at the Kyle Moody scheme for 2025. It was pretty fire. Absolutely deck hard. Dump it to the Chiefs. Fly, Eagles, fly. Damn right.
Is there a game this weekend or something?
There's a big game this week. I don't know if you heard about it.
Nope, don't really care.
Olivia Thayer in the chat. Thank you guys. It was great meeting you this past weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Olivia.
Great meeting you too.
Same.
We'll have that interview up this week.
And Carter stole that pink hat. She's worn to school for 3 days. She refuses to put it down. So thank you, Olivia, for that.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Marie says, drink it to a great start tonight for 2025. Thank you so much. Amanda says, drink it to Justin Peck and his 3 wins of the 2025 year so far. I mean, he's on fire. Mandy says, drink it, Motorsports Trade Show and Racing Extravaganza for being an excellent fan experience, and the track drivers that show up and interact with the fans, and to all the new paint schemes, especially the 67 and the 2D. Dump it. The one late model that caught fire, Jacob Allen blowing a motor and not being able to finish the ASCS and Volusia, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Go Birds. And let's go Icebreaker, baby. Yeah, and it's very sad to see Zemco being retired, not just the car, but the business as well, right? Was that what I saw this weekend?
What?
It was sold, Zemco.
Yeah, new owners. It's still alive, but new owners, yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, how about that? Don't forget Ashley Capetta's fundraiser on Saturday at Irishtown Fire Company. Shout out.
It's a good event. She puts a lot of work into that. Wish we could be there. I have obligations on Saturday that I cannot. But if you can, you should be there.
What are you doing is so important, Chris. All right.
Not being at the fundraiser. I have to work. I have to work. Life's a bitch like that sometimes. I took off the last 2 Saturdays. I have to work sometimes, okay?
You did. You were like, oh, I'm working. I can't do this. And then you're at the show all day.
Surprise.
Oh, yeah. Our musical guest needs to play us out, I think.
I don't know how to play music.
Yeah, we know. We could tell.
See you, everybody. Next week.
See ya. Thanks, everyone. See you guys next week.